Well, good morning, everyone. I'm Kathy Castor, Tampa-based Congresswoman. I'm here with Port Tampa Bay CEO and Executive Director Paul Anderson, Chambers from the Propeller Club, Harry Cohen, Commissioner Harry Cohen from the Board of County Commissioners, who's also a Port Commissioner. And we're here to discuss how we lower cost and strengthen supply chains for Tampa Bay area families and businesses. And we're doing it in a number of ways. First of all, let me say, we are so fortunate to have the economic engine of Port Tampa Bay here leading our region. This is where goods are delivered that help fuel our entire economy. It is the largest port in the state of Florida. It is Florida's most diverse port. This is the engine that helps our economy go in this area, including construction materials. So we were talking about the importance of the new Bipartisan Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act. Port Tampa Bay is where all of those construction materials, steel, cement, will flow through to help rebuild our roads and bridges and water systems and help our economy go, creating a lot of jobs. This is also where we build and repair ships. It's also the hub of distribution for all of the goods that serve this economy. All you have to do is drive around the Central Florida region to understand there is a shift going on in the economy with distribution and warehouses. We know one of the things that is driving higher costs right now is a mismatch between supply and demand. So what we want to do over time is strengthen domestic manufacturing and supply chains. Next week, the House of Representatives is going to debate and hopefully pass the American Competes Act. This is vital to strengthening supply chains, particularly what is driving higher costs for the cars, trucks we drive, our electronics, home goods. We have a shortage, an alarming shortage of semiconductors and chips. This American Competes Act will invest funds over time to build the chips, manufacture the chips right here in America. We anticipate this will create a lot of good paying, family sustaining jobs and help us bring down the cost to consumers over time. I mean, there's good news this morning. It was just announced that the economy is stronger than ever. GDP in 2021 increased by 5.7%. That is higher than we anticipated. So jobs are up, wages are up, but we've got to get a handle on the higher costs for consumers, and it's really strengthening what happens here at Port Tampa Bay that can give us that shot in the arm. So I want to ask Commissioner Harry Cohen to come up and talk about what he sees on the horizon for the port and for this community.
Thank you very much, Congresswoman. This was really a wonderful opportunity for us to get together and discuss the supply chain issues that are really affecting people in all sorts of areas of their lives. The perspective that I brought to the table this morning was to talk a little bit about two areas where I serve and how I'm seeing the supply chain affecting things. And one is in Hillsborough County, where the shortage of and unavailability of computer chips can cause delays in some of our projects that people care very much about, and also in my service on Tampa Bay Water, where the need for chemicals to clean our water supply has been affected by the supply chain. And what is really very comforting and helpful about the America Competes Act is that it goes right to the heart of the problem, which is to make sure that we have domestic manufacturing of goods and services that we need in order to fulfill critical functions. And it was very, very good to hear the way that those programs are being integrated with a lot of the work that the port is doing. And I'm very glad to always be here with my colleagues from the Port Authority, because they are making this truly a global hub and a place where goods and services can flow very freely and hopefully notwithstanding some of the issues that we're seeing in the trucking industry, hopefully get our supply chains back to what we're used to.
Great, thank you, Commissioner. Next, I want to ask Paul Anderson, the CEO of Port Tampa Bay, to talk a little bit about what's happening here at the port, this very important economic engine. There's a little bit of good news. We have some federal dollars that are coming here to make sure that the port, the channel that serves all of those big ships and tankers that you see coming in and out of Port Tampa Bay, that channel remains dredged. That is important for supply chains and making sure we're able to bring in the goods that we need for this economy to work. So, Paul, thanks for all that you do.
I want to thank Congresswoman Castor for taking a strong interest in the supply chain. But she didn't just do it when we had a supply chain crisis in our country. She's been doing it since she was elected in 2006, and I want to thank her for that. As Americans in our nation are experiencing backlogs and delays, Port Tampa Bay remains open for business and is experiencing no backlogs. We remain open. We are serving our customers. We continue to grow. As Congresswoman Castor mentioned, we are moving forward with deepening the channel at Port Tampa Bay, which will continue to allow bigger ships to come into the port and provide goods, and the goods that we all are seeing coming into the Central Florida area with the growth of distribution centers. So we're going to continue to work very closely with the Congresswoman and her team to make sure that Port Tampa Bay gets our fair share of the dollars to grow the port.
Great. Thanks again, Paul. You've done a remarkable job here with Florida's largest, most diverse cargo port. And this is vitally important to businesses and families all across the Tampa Bay area as they struggle with higher costs. Like I said, wages are up, unemployment is down, the GDP is up, but we have to do as much as possible to lower costs for families and businesses, and a lot of that is making sure that the goods continue to flow into Port Tampa Bay and into Central Florida. The Infrastructure and Jobs Act will help. Rebuilding our roads and bridges, investing in transit and clean water and ports all across America. And then next week, a real shot in the arm through the American Competes Act to make sure that we are doing more to strengthen supply chains, make things in America again, address the computer chip shortage, and make sure that America can outcompete any country in the world. So thank you for being here, and we're happy to answer any questions.